What's up, everyone? Welcome to the channel. I have a very special guest. I have Jay here with me, and we're gonna talk with Jay. Jay, what's up, man?
Not much, man. So stoked to be here. Very proud to be on this channel with you. It's very cool.
Of course, man. I've been looking forward to it, and so is Mirka, for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
Jay, man, let's go ahead and get it started. Um, Before we get started, I guess tell me what were like the most debilitating like symptoms that you were experiencing, sensations that you were experiencing during the anxiety journey.
Depersonalization was the big one for me. That's kind of where it all started. I think usually for most people, it's like the first big symptom is kind of the one that carries all the way through. But that, and I kind of had everything, man. Like I couldn't sleep for months. I had really bad ringing in my ears, which a lot you don't really hear much about. But when I got into the mentorship, I met a bunch of people that had similar stuff. Heart palpitations, got everything, man. Like hot and cold sweats at night, waking up like completely jarred and like shocked in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just kind of like little bits of everything, to be brutally honest. I think throughout the journey, I think your nervous system just throws every kind of symptom at you just to kind of see if you're paying attention and watching. So
I know.
yeah.
I remember I had all those symptoms. So I agree too with the ear ringing. Like that's like one of the ones where um it's not talked about, but it's like so common, I find.
Very common. Yeah. Yeah,
So
man.
how did like let's go all the way back to the beginning. How did all of this start?
Well, it was about maybe a year and a bit ago, and I had a lot of life stressors happening all at once. I lost a baby with my wife. We had a miscarriage, and my dog died, and COVID was happening. My wife lost her job, and like the list just goes on and on. So I had this like perfect storm of stressors, and I thought I was fine. I genuinely wasn't like dwelling too much on them. I didn't feel like it was overwhelming or consuming me in any way. I just kind of was knuckling down trying to get through it. But I obviously probably wasn't dealing with it the right way. And one night I smoked a bunch of weed at home and had a panic attack when I was really, really high. And that did it. Yeah. So I was basically just at home by myself as usual, smoked some weed, got real high and felt like high for hours, for like 6 or 7 hours. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I didn't even really smoke too much. Like I shouldn't be this high. And then I woke up the next morning, I still felt like I was high and I couldn't make it go away. So freaked out even more. That spiraled me. And I rang all my friends and asked if they had that, similar thing happen to them. No one did. And then I went to my doctor a few days later and he just said to me, he goes, man, like, to be honest, it sounds like you have anxiety. And I just looked at him and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, are you not listening to what I'm telling you? Like, I feel like I'm high, like you're not listening. And
Yeah.
he, unfortunately he was on the money and I just wasn't listening to him. But I went in there, like, he's a great guy. I went in there looking just for medication even. He said, oh, you have anxiety. So he could give me all the medication. He just like laughed and he goes, oh man, like, let's take it step by step. And he was really good with me. Any symptoms that I had, I obviously went in and got them checked out by my doctor to make sure that they weren't serious or not anxiety. And he's kind of been with me the whole way. So I got really lucky with him. But yeah, that was basically the spin out. And for about 2 or 3 months, I had solid depersonalization where there was no breaks. It was just wake up feeling freaked out and depersonalized and go to sleep the same, wake up the same. And I thought I was losing my mind. My lowest points, I remember before we jumped on this call, I was trying to remember some of like those key points where I thought my world was just, imploding. And I remember at like 3 or 4 in the morning, I just wanted to jump in the shower because I felt like it almost felt like my skin was going to crawl off because I was so uncomfortable just with how much anxiety I had. And I was laying in the shower and just crying. And my wife came in and just looked at me and was just seeing her face, see me that way. I just remember was just horrible. And I just thought, oh, I just got to get out of this. I need to figure a way to, fully recover. And luckily enough, I found you on YouTube, and through you, and also you recommending an amazing book called Hope and Help for Your Nerves by Dr. Claire Weeks. Those were the two pillars, I think, for me that put me on the path to recovery. And I think having two things like that were, you guys were speaking the exact same language, and it was just this amazing scientific view on anxiety and what was actually happening. So it really just demystified the whole monster of anxiety for me. And from that point, I was able to kind of like take the step after step towards recovery. And it's such a long journey, too. So I think for me, having, you, and then eventually jumping into the mentorship and having the team to kind of back me along the way, that was the way out. So that's my story in really like a short recap.
Yeah. I'm curious, when you had that panic attack, did you know it was a panic attack?
No idea. No.
Yeah, I had no idea either when I had mine.
Yeah. I thought a panic attack would be something completely different. I don't even think panic attack went through my head. I just thought, like, I remember sitting there going like, whoa, I'm really high. Like, this is not something else is happening. This is not the way I should be feeling. And yeah, it definitely didn't know it was a panic attack. I didn't really register that was a panic attack until maybe months later, until I understood what was happening.
Yeah.
I thought I broke my brain. I thought I was like, no, you've done it this time. You smoked too much weed. It's gone. Your brain's broken. See ya. Checking out.
Yeah. I remember when I was told it was a panic attack, I almost felt like they dumbed it down. I was like, dude, that's not a panic attack. That was something else. Like, that was ridiculous. Yeah. And I was like, no, it just can't be a panic, because we use that term so loosely. And they're like, no, I think it was a panic attack. And then I was like, wait, but I don't have anxiety. I went through the exact same phase as you, man. So fast forward a little bit. You joined the mentorship. How was your experience in the mentorship?
It was the beginning was scary, because it was obviously a giant leap of faith, because I had tried so many things, dude, as pretty much everyone else has. I think when they're going through this, they just want a quick fix or something to make it just go away. And so it was a scary leap. But once I got into the mentorship and just working with coaches, I mean, more than anything, like, it was just nice to be a part of a community that was going through the same thing that I was. And I don't even know if you remember, but at the beginning, I was really worried about doing calls with, some other people and talking to other people in the mentorship. I just was very closed off. I didn't want to share my experiences really with anyone. But what I found was other callers that were, other people in the mentorship that you guys were coaching, I was learning so much, probably more from their questions and the answers from the coaches with that, yeah, I didn't understand at the beginning, but after it, I was like, yeah, that definitely helped a lot more, being able to kind of hear other people's views on it and really learn from them as well. So
right.
Cool.
Yeah, I remember there was a lot of like, naturally with everybody, it would have been the same with me, but there was like there's always a little bit of concern when people join the mentorship. I feel like I would have been the same, because, like, how you mentioned it, you tried everything. And you're like, well, what if this thing doesn't work?
Everything.
I know,
dude.
I feel you.
And like I spent like money doing a bunch of other things, like other, I don't want to go too deep in it, but there were some funny ones, man. Like, I was trying to remember before we jumped on the call, like, what are the stupidest ones that I did, just to make people laugh and kind of resonate with them, because I know there's people out there doing some wild stuff. I had a guy trying to coach me, teaching me to hyperventilate, like actually hyperventilate like 5 or 6 times a day, trying to make it go away.
Was it like the Wim Hof method? Was that what it was? Or
no, it wasn't the Wim, like, because I was aware of the Wim Hof, and I was kind of saying to the guy, I'm like, is this like the Wim Hof thing? He's like, no, this is like a special anxiety breathing, hyperventilation. I'm like, so I did, man. I was doing it. I did that. Honestly, I did that for like embarrassingly for like a month before my wife was like, yo, you need to stop doing this. This is really disrupting our lives. So
I feel like I was hyperventilating even without that. Like, I was just doing that.
I was like, man,
yeah,
my day is pretty much of hyperventilation. So No, but I did that, like acupuncture, massage, oils, mushroom extracts, like I did everything, dude. I tried the whole thing. Therapy, I did like, I had a therapist that was wonderful, really great, but she had no idea about what I was going through. And that was like the really scary point, is I went to someone that was going to be a professional on
Mm.
talking about, anxiety and this. I didn't realize that she had no idea. She didn't know, man, she didn't know who Dr. Claire Weeks was. That was I was like, oh, okay, this is a good. She didn't understand, like when I was trying to explain my symptoms, she just was like, oh, it's childhood trauma. And I was like, no, I don't think it is. Like, and I've been blessed with the most beautiful childhood. I'm not saying that I didn't have anything bad happen to me in my life, but it wasn't that. And we went and explored that for a few months, and that didn't work as well. But yeah, I tried it all.
Yeah, that's well said, actually, because you're right. It was, I remember even when I went to my therapist and they couldn't give me an answer, and that's when I was like, oh no, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, because they were like, it's anxiety. Well, for me, it was like, they were like, because the doctors were literally saying, just stop coming. Like, you need to talk to somebody. And I was
Yeah.
kind of like, what is a therapist going to do to help me with this case? So I went to the therapist, and he didn't really help that much. He really did say, though, at the end, I think you're going to be okay. But he didn't really tell me anything. And for me, it was like validating. It was like, see, I told you that was pointless. This isn't like a therapy.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't anything like that. And then like I got desperate. And then I was like, yo, I can't even get like a therapist to help me. And then I even tried meds personally. And that didn't do much.
Yeah.
It just kind of validated, oh no, like I'm not gonna come out of this. Like what I'm going through is just too like abstract and too bizarre. So
I mean, meds is the only thing I didn't try, but I had so many people around me with really not great experiences, and that was the one thing I just didn't. I knew I didn't want to go down that path, but like you have said and others have said, it's just like it's good for certain people. It's like a nice safety net, but yeah,
mhm.
that's the only thing I didn't go
Yeah.
into.
What were some
Yeah.
of the things that really, you mentioned the book, but like what were some things that, what would you tell somebody that was kind of like in your situation at like the worst point, right? Like when you were experiencing like intense DPDR, like what is something you would tell? Because the people that are watching this, they're at that stage, and they feel like
Yeah.
they're the only people that are going through it. What is something that you would, if you could tell something to old Jay, what would it be?
The first thing I would say is like I wouldn't have believed myself is that you're going to be all right. That would be the first thing I would say to myself, because I didn't think I was all right. Um, Mainly, I would tell them go read "Hope and Help for Your Nerves" by Dr. Claire Weeks, because that was the light at the end of the tunnel. Find, whether it be you or the mentorship, find somebody that has been through this. Don't go and Google and ask randoms about, anxiety, because you're going to get a whole bag of nothing. And it's probably more hurtful than good, going and searching for like, on Google about stuff and trying to figure it out that way. So I would say find, someone that has been through it, or a group of people that have been through it, like the mentorship or whatever you find. And yeah, just take your time. I think one of the key things that I had to remember during recovery was always you saying at the end of this, not only will you get your life back in the way that you were, but you will be stronger, smarter, and more resilient than you could probably ever imagine. And for me, that was kind of like my beacon of light, where when things got really heavy, I remember just thinking to myself, nah, like I'm not going to let this thing take me out. Like I'm going to be, a better version of myself for me and my family. And that's the truth, man. Like getting to the end of recovery, you not only get your life back, and you see your old self, you start to have fun, laugh, and all that stuff, and you don't really have any symptoms. The main thing though that comes from it is that when life throws you other curveballs, you just look at them like, seriously, that's it. That's it. I thought my life was over. I thought, like things, I thought this whole thing was going to end. So remember when the times get tough, that those are the moments where you're building that resilience and that strength of that new person. That's what I would say. When stuff got heavy, I remember thinking like, I'm gonna be tough when I get through this, man. Like this is crazy.
Yeah.
So
No, and that's true. I mean, you progressed really fast. You did really well. I remember we were talking about this, like how when you first joined, there was a lot of natural hesitation. Um,
yeah.
and but you know, you really did take off. Like you did really well. You listened. You know, I always think about it. I was like, man, like, because I always wonder if I was in the mentorship, how would I be? Would I be really
Yeah.
difficult? Or would I be like very like, okay, I'll follow the books? And I don't know. I don't know. But like you were somebody that really would like, you really listened, you were engaged, um, you executed. And I always look and I'm like, you know, where, you know, what made you do that? What made you really follow through with, you know, because like I always say, right? Like we show you the way, but you were the one that walked through it. You know, we were just
Yeah.
with you. You know, what
Oh,
were
dude,
some of
thank
those
you.
things? Yeah.
Man, like I think it's like anything in life, like you really get out what you put in. And it's not, I mean, really anything. Like if you sign up to a program and you the whole time you're just, like a skeptic and you're like, oh, this isn't gonna work. I don't want to listen to you. Like my thing's different, or I'm not gonna, like everyone thinks like that's the other thing I didn't realize. Everyone thinks that their thing is the worst thing and that no one has ever had it. And when you have that attitude, no one can really help you because you're just not listening, because people have been through it. And people have been through it worse, probably. Like most likely people have had a worse version of whatever it is that
Mhm.
you're going through. So I just remember listening to you guys, and yeah, I just honestly just really enjoyed learning. I enjoyed learning, and I remember one thing that you said to me that stuck with me for so long was like, get curious about it. And
Hmm.
that really took a lot of the fear out of what I was going through. It's like, it's interesting what is, I know like for people that are struggling, you're going to be like, yo, this isn't interesting, I want this to stop. But it is incredibly interesting what our bodies do, with giving us these symptoms and what our bodies are capable of doing. It actually is, that's the thing that's so difficult about anxiety, is it's so hard to believe that our brains and our fight or flight and nervous system can show these symptoms through our bodies. It's wild, man.
Yeah.
So I remember just listening to you guys and being curious and just wanting to learn for myself and maybe for someone else one day if I can help somebody else and get them through it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
that's
know.
a very subtle concept I've mentioned. I feel like I haven't mentioned it enough, but it's amazing that you picked it up. Yeah, that curiosity,
Yeah,
because I talk about it a little bit more when people get a little bit more advanced. Um,
yeah.
which, you know, I mean, that's awesome, man. How's your life now? Like, what kind of things are
Oh
you doing now compared to like, when you were really struggling?
man, yeah, just my life. It's just it's like a movie script or something. It shouldn't have been this amazing, but it is. So through the end of my recovery, um, one of my most favorite bands that I love so much asked me to join them, and so I've been playing in this, pretty successful band over here in Australia. And even the story of me getting into that situation is just like, if I hadn't gone through anxiety, there's no way that I would have, risen to the occasion. Because it was a situation where the singer of the band came out to me and said, look, this other guy's about to leave. We've got a show in 4 days. Can you learn 12 songs in 4 days? I was like, the old Jay would have been like, no, are you serious? I'm terrified. I'm not doing that. But the new Jay was like, dude, I can do anything. I was like, you want me to learn that? I can learn 30 songs. Let's go. I'll do it. So, dude, I just knuckled down, did a decent job. I probably made a few funny mistakes, but did all right. And yeah, now I'm playing, around the country, playing music. And on my work side of my life is incredible, and then on my personal side, my wife is pregnant with another baby, so I've already got a 3-year-old son, but I've got another one on the way. um, Life is good, man. I'm just so happy that I've got my life back, and I pushed and kept going when things got heavy, because there was, like you'll say to everyone, the thing that shocked me the most about recovery is just the ups and downs. Like you are always doing 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. And even when you think like, nah, I'm recovered, I got it. There's days where you just like, you're celebrating because you're like, everything's great. And then you get symptoms again.
Yeah.
That can be super, super hard to swallow. It's like, oh, are you kidding me? It's back. Like, and then you learn eventually that attitude of when it comes back and how you accept it when it comes back is how you get out of like the whole, that, stage as well. So just, yeah. So life is incredible, man. I'm just feeling appreciative that I found you, and I found, Claire Weeks and all that, because I think I would probably be in a pretty sticky place if I didn't.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad, man. I'm really glad. And you're right. I always say, and yeah, I'm sure you've heard me say that, like, there were so many times I thought I'd recovered, but I hadn't.
Yeah.
I had a
Oh,
setback. And then I always say, like, the answer is just more time,
Yeah.
just same response, more time. And it becomes a process, man. Yeah. And for those that don't know, Jay's an amazing musician.
Thanks,
I remember
bro. Thank
I
you.
was watching one of your videos on YouTube and it was really good. I was like the team and I were like, yo, he's good. Like it's amazing. And that's great.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, man. Jay, you're crushing it. I mean, like, is there anything else you want to tell, the viewers that are watching? You've given definitely a lot of great insight. Is there anything you really want to say in terms of any like final words or anything like that?
Just the main thing that I said, like you are going to be okay. Like, I know that was, man, like it's so hard to believe. It's the hardest thing to believe when you're going through this, but you're going to be all right. Just get the right information and remember that you're going to learn lessons through this that you'll have for the rest of your life. I'm sure, I've just pretty much fully recovered from this, or I don't know what your definition of fully recovered is. By the end, it doesn't matter. Life becomes so good that you're just like, whatever. But yeah, just keep heading in the direction of where you want to go with it, and you put the work in and you'll get the good stuff out of it. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you and I were talking about how like how many people have gone like around us that are going through the same thing, right? I know you and I thought we were the only people, and like everybody around us, it's so crazy, right? Like Nico and I used to work together. And
yeah,
like in the
I had no idea.
Yeah, no, we used to work together. He actually saw me when I was going through anxiety. And then I got out and then I left and then he fell in. And yeah. But it's like, isn't it crazy? Yeah.
It's wild, man. Like even I've had family members, like, my mom, even like this stuff where I'm noticing stuff and I'm going, hey, like, I know that very well. And that's the other thing you get. If you can get out of this and, work through to recovery, you have that empathy and that understanding about anxiety that is so valuable, man. Like, I just wish I had a close friend that had been through this when I was going through it. So they could have been like, hey, like, I know what you're going through. But yeah, isn't that wild? Like, you just look around and you just go, man, like it is really all around us, but the education on anxiety and recovery is just, we're really right at the beginning. Like, because no one, like, you go, man, people, I'm sure people here, like you've all Googled, we all just Googled the hell out of anything that we can, but you just get ripped apart. Like, you ask a question and it's just like that. There's no clear answer. And I think that's probably the hardest part of recovery and anxiety, is just not knowing if the thing that you're doing now is the right thing and if that's going to help. And because there's just so many different beliefs and
no, I 100%. I always think like, it's not like the internet has made it more complicated. There's so many different answers and there's so many different conflicting answers, and there are little pieces. They're not like the full thing. So recovery becomes like this puzzle that you need to figure out. And it makes it worse because that puzzle is what's keeping you in the cycle. But Jay, honestly, like, one of the reasons that I held back from creating this for such a long time, this is going to sound crazy, but I didn't think enough people would have gone through this. I thought I was like so rare that I was like,
Yeah,
even if I can help, what if there's not that many people? What if there's like 4 people in the world? Like, how are they going to stumble? Like, literally, that's what I thought. And
yeah,
now I'm like, oh my God, everybody's going through this. And then it's like this matrix. It's like you could see it in like other people too. And you could see things popping, especially with the whole like, pandemic and everything that's going on right now. Like, it's just like popping up
yeah.
everywhere. It's
So I
wild.
mean, that's a good indication though to show you that like, you went through it not really that long ago in the grand scheme of things, and to see how far information has come from then till now. You always share some like really incredible people on Instagram and stuff that are always posting some really good information and stuff. There's people out there that are pushing the right stuff, so
I
it's
know.
that's really wonderful to see. And I gotta say, from everyone else, like, you're one of the guys that has really pushed that out there, man. And if it wasn't for you, there'd be a lot of people really struggling, so you should congratulate yourself as well, man. You're
Thanks,
incredible,
man.
dude.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thanks. Dude. Yeah, it's very fulfilling. It's dude, it's a blessing, man. It really is. Like like kind of like how you said it, right? It's like if I managed to even get out of this, that would have been like a dream come true because I didn't know.
yeah,
Like not
yeah,
only did you get out of it, life gets good. And I had the luxury of being able to go back and help others. Like, I mean, that it was just too good to be true. It was just like
no,
if I thought like that when I was struggling with anxiety, I think about that. Like if I thought like that when I was struggling with anxiety, I think it would have made me really sad because I was like, that is
yeah,
so far fetched that like my standards were really low. And fast forward, and it's like, no, that's exactly what's happening. And it just tells you that like, a lot of the things that I was so convinced were wrong. Everything that I thought or I felt was actually not true. What else is possible?
absolutely.
What else could you do? So yeah, it's pretty wild, man.
Yeah, man. It's a crazy crazy ride, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like we said before, it's one that you'll benefit from. And I look back, and this will sound wild and crazy to people, but if I could take back and never had gone through it, I wouldn't, because the way that I am now and who I am now strength wise is like, it's worth every bit of the pain that you go through. So just, yeah, keep moving, seriously.
Awesome. Jay,
Yeah,
well said, man. Cool, guys. So I
thanks,
hope
bro.
this video helped. There's some free resources in the links down below. If you want to apply for mentorship, there's also a link down below as well. And Jay, man, really appreciate it, man. This was a long time coming. I'm glad.
Dude, I'm so honored. Thank you.
No, of course, man. Thanks, dude. Thanks for hopping on. And yeah, dude. And for everybody else, I'll see you in the next one.